Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas and welcome to the final part of the Grinding TonyBet series. 24 parts later and we here. Gonna finish exactly how we started and exactly how as we've done throughout. I loaded up the tables, I jumped in some games, and I'm playing 50NL, 10NL, 2NL, and 5NL. It's actually a really nice spread there. Gonna just play the games, talk about TonyBet, get you guys on there, and just make as much money as possible. And one thing to point out, how awesome is this felt? Santa sleighs, ice, cool little gingerbread men, bells, presents, socks, just everything you could ever want in a site. I absolutely love that they make the effort and bother to do stuff like this because it does sort of freshen the site up and make you feel really good about it. Quick one to note is this King Jack. He raised the flop. I obviously just called, just trying to trap and induce. And then river, I'm just going to bet half pot and hope he calls. Really hard to think that we can induce any more bluffs here. And I just don't want him to check back like an ace high, maybe. Going to go ahead and see bet the 5-7 top left, fold the king deuce top right, and fold the ace 8. We can actually find out what this guy had. Ace high, exactly, yeah. Kind of felt that way, so I didn't want him to check back, and I wanted to get that value. Make sure you get signed up to TonyBet. The reason I wanted to show this site is just because of how much I love it and how great I think it is. And I really believe if you take poker, seriously at all, then this should be one of those sites that you play on and, reap the benefits from. Not only are you going to make lots of money on the tables, you're going to make lots of money just by playing. The rake back, the bonuses, it's all so high, and you can just make loads and loads of money. So yeah, get signed up, give it a go, and at least give it a try. Also, just notice: is this a mince pie dealer button? Is that what that is? Oh, it kind of flashes and does things. Is that a mince pie? Leave a comment in the YouTube or Poker VIP box and let me know what you think that is. But yeah, how awesome is that? To me, this is like an ice rink, right? Like it's like an iced over lake and something like that. Pretty cool. 10 do suited anyway, we're going to go ahead and make a defend. Definitely something we want to be doing, in these games versus a min raise. Actually, was it a 2.5x? Still the same kind of thing. We flop second pair. Obviously, our kicker is an issue, but we also have that backdoor flush draw. Also, he's going to be c-betting a flop like this a lot. And we call and we get a really bad turn card. It obviously improves hands like ace jack, ace queen, jack queen, or just any ace x's. And I think this is one of those turns that we can just go ahead and fold on. Queen 10 here, I opened in the cutoff and I c-bet my gut shot. Once I get min raised, I'm going to go ahead and call because we've got the gut shot, because we've got queen high, and because we've got that running flush draw. And then we basically just see what happens on the turn. And when he bets, we're just now going to go ahead and fold when we don't improve to a heart or a pair or the straight itself. Queen 9 on the button, three-handed. Even in a six-handed game, that would be an open. Queen 9 on the button definitely wants to fall in your range. Good flop for us here. We didn't get 3-bet, so if someone does have a slice of this, it's going to be like ace with like 10 kicker at best. Maybe I like king queen. Sometimes ace 5 and ace 3 might be there now, but I think we're just going to bomb 3 streets here and just assume that he's going to have lots of weak aces or weak kings that we can go ahead and get him to fold by the river. This is also a really good river for us. I don't expect to have queen 10. I don't expect to have that many flushes. And we can certainly have some. We can have ace x with the diamond. And we can even have a hand like, well, we don't have any of the blockers for it, but we can definitely have lots of flushes that get there. He might turn a hand like ace of diamonds x into a bluff here. Or we might just go ahead and make a call. But I want him to try and get into fold that ace 10, ace 9, ace 8 type hand. Or even a hand like king queen. So that's what we achieve. Aces bottom right in the 5-L game. Going to go ahead and just c-bet. This could be a really good turn card for us because it's unlikely that he's got an ace, but quite likely that he has a queen once he calls this flop. So I'm just not going to think about slow playing, and I'm just going to keep betting and hope he raises or just carries on calling me down. He does go ahead and fold though, so I imagine he had a hand like jack 10 or king jack. I'm not going to allow the limper in the 50-L game top left. No limping on my watch, buddy. You know, even if he limp raises, we can peel in position with a hand like 7-8 suit, and it's going to play just fine. So a limp calling range. I'm not too sure how many aces he has in his range. So when he checks calls the flop, it is slightly odd, and now he goes ahead and leads the turn. I think we just have to call here and then raise a lot of rivers because we have way more strong hands than he does. So I think that's just the way we need to go with it. I'll be very confused if he bets. And he bets quite strong as well. Just a random play. I mean, like, probably just not a thinking player. Probably again just never get him to fold an ace. I think I might actually just fold here, which makes my flop on the turn not that great. But obviously, if he checks, I'll go ahead and bet. Just the more I think about it, and the more I think about the player types, might just mean I'm getting a little bit too fancy there, and you know maybe he's just playing his hand quite face up. So we let it go. We did like Elsa, and we let it go. Yep, I said it. Okay, so top left table, I open, I c-bet, very dry flop. Standard going to win it a lot there. Hard to make a pair or three of a kind, so we're just going to bet and assume he's going to just fold a lot of, you know, any two cards. Top right here, I'm going to raise small. I know this guy's really short. We could just ship it, we could just call. But I think when there's a flush draw out there and this guy has very little money, we're just going to go ahead and raise and try and get it in. Okay, just start betting my three of a kind for the minimum top left as well. And I think here we just ship the turn here with our ace jack. Going to carry on betting my... Nope, he's got lots of outs. Deuce 5, 3 or diamond. He gets one of them. He should have probably just not been at this table or just gone with it on the flop. Especially if he's running it twice, he wants to, you know, run as many cards as twice to, you know, hit his hand. But that is not our issue. And again, just proving TonyBet truly does have the softest games in online poker. Raising up here with a 5s versus a limp, I'd be fine to just get in versus Grey Juice here. And basically if he calls, I'm just going to ship a load of flops. But we get it in. Wow, he's actually got a really strong hand. Did not expect to see that. 3. Okay. Call for the chop, you know. Let's hope we can hold the second one at least. Yep. Chopping it up. Me and him are just giving a little bit of rake to TonyBet every now and then. That's how we like to play it. We like to feed TonyBet. Interesting hand here. 3-3 Jack, 6 King, and an overbet jam by Leolic, who we know is a reg. Gets a call. Shows down King Jack. Wow, that's pretty cold. That is pretty cold for Mr. Moda. I think it's a fine call there. Like, Leolic's going to be bluffing enough. And once you make the pair after you miss your draw and the draw misses, and, you know, you block a lot of the cards that Leolic can have, then I think that's an okay call. Didn't really see how the action went sizing-wise, because we're paying attention to the top right table. But certainly a tough one to get away from. Jack 9 I open, you know the drill. Just going to half pop bet the flop and just assume he hasn't hit that flop a lot of the time, and we can go ahead and rep and take it down. And that is how a lot of money in poker's made. Like, truly. Just those really easy, quick steals. Bottom left table, 2NL, and we flop a pretty okay flush draw, 10 high, and we face a almost pot-sized lead, which we're going to go ahead and call and basically just see what happens. Ideally, we turn a pair or a flush, and ideally all it doesn't raise now, because then we would just go ahead and fold. Board pairs, we miss our draw, so now I'm just going to go ahead and check and give up, really. It's going to be very hard for us to just power through and bluff this one against 2, so I'm going to avoid doing that. I'm going to squeeze the ace-10 bottom right and fold the 10-4. Even though I'm getting a good price here, not that great of a flush draw paired board. Not good. Going in for the cold 4 here, and not going to be folding my ace-king suited. And ace-10 we get 4-bet and we're going to fold. Huge 4-bet as well. And the ace-king we take it down. And one thing you guys have probably seen a lot throughout these 24 parts is just how often I sort of like 4-bet squeeze in spots like that, and quite often don't have the goods. Which really just goes to show that, you know, it's great to do it as bluffs as well, because it is a very strong, powerful line. And, people do just 3-bet way too often. And then when they face a 4-bet, it's kind of just like they have to fold. Also, as well, just the fact of if you're doing something a lot with like bluffs or, bad hands, in air quotes, then definitely do exactly the same when you have the goods. Gonna bet once here and give up with the ace-9. He likes to play lots of pots and fold a lot post-flop. Probably a fit or fold type of player. So definitely wanting to like half pot stab. We're risking half the size of the pot to win the full pot. I mean, it's just a great deal for us, especially when it works that often. The 8-10 suited I just had in the bottom right. I just see bet my double gut shot backdoor flush draw. But mainly it's all just about repping flops. You open in late position, the guy calls, and he comes ace jack queen. Just how often is this guy going to have sets? Well, never probably, or like 99% never. How often is he going to have, two pair? Close to never, because he's going to re-raise those hands pre-flop. He can certainly go ahead and have flopped a flush draw or a straight. They're definitely hands he can defend with, but actual like really strong made hands, not many. But then if you flip reverse that and say, well, how many of those hands can we have? Well, we can have them all. I think we just lost the connection for a second there. It's the first time I've seen it do it like that. Don't know if it's me or the software, but it seems to be coming back. Gonna fold king deuce. 6-8 I just made up the small blind. Obviously, when you're getting the price, it's a nice playable hand, and you just basically play it quite, straightforward post flop. I like isolating a lot, but top left, 5-6 offsuit, I think we can go ahead and fold hands like that. Sure, a lot of you guys have heard the saying, don't ever slay the golden goose. And that basically just means, we've got the god seat on this Rezux guy. And we're going to be ISOing him and winning lots of post-flop pots and, getting value from him. But don't just do it all the time, because he'll either get fed up of it or other people will, notice it. You want to just, do it, when it's profitable and, the best opportunity. A few spots here. Let's have a look. Top right, I squeeze, and now we face this min raise all in versus two limpers. Kind of want to isolate here, so I'm going to go ahead and raise, and if I get jammed on, I'm going to be sick. 8-10 suited, I think, with position on the fish, I can call, and the ace-queen I 3-bet, and I'm going to go ahead and c-bet flop. So king-queen, we get it in versus this guy, we get it in good, and we need to avoid that one. That was one of the outs. And with this guy's size of a stack, I'm going to go ahead and just fold. This I'm really going to be interested in seeing. If Rezux has anything here when he raises that kind of flop. I think we might be about to find out that this guy's just a stone cold bluffer, and I have a feeling he's going to have like 9 high or something. Just from what I've seen about players like this, and maybe I recognize his name. But if he keeps raising on these kind of like ace high, king high board and bets when someone can have a full house or trips, he's quite often going to have nothing. Leolic here, by the way, should do nothing but call or fold. If he ever raised there, it would be crazy as a bluff or as value. So I expect to just call or fold, and he actually folded there. So shame we don't gain any information. But good thing is the money went to him. I'm gonna go ahead and ISO bottom right. And by the way, guys, it does not matter what stakes you play. Just want to really put something out there that this is a site where you can definitely build up a bankroll. And if you're playing 2NL and it's like a grind, or you're stuck at 10NL and it's a grind, just keep on going. It will come good, I promise. A6 bottom right, I bet and gave up, and the top left I just ISO'd this guy with my ace high. But then when this guy overcalls and we get a jack 5 king queen queen flop, then it's always going to be quite tough for us to do anything. And I'm going to fold the ace high here. I think that would just be way too wide of a hero call, especially with a player behind. So yeah, I mean, God, we're 14 minutes in, and there has been a lot of action. If you need any help with any bits, if you have any questions, or if you've got any, advice or tips or lines that you might have taken, or just anything at all, please leave in the comments. I'm gonna make sure I go through all the 24 parts over the next week and make sure everyone has been answered, and really help you guys out. So, and thanks for all the love, all the thumbs ups and reviews. It definitely kept me going. Making 24 parts was obviously just like a crazy thing to do that we've never done before, and I've really enjoyed it. Anyway, king 9 suited bottom left. I
However,
defend.
oh,
Excuse me. God, every time I forget to turn the Bluetooth speaker off. So yeah, we defend top pair, backdoor flush draw. We turn the backdoor flush draw and he pop bets it. I'm just going to call, and I'm probably just going to call any river. I was going to say that's not a heart. Any jams. I think I can fold here, honestly. But then we just call any one that's not a heart. It just feels very much like a flush draw, or better maybe, like a full house. Or it could just have trips, but that still beats me, of course. Sixes, no limpers on my watch, guys. Can't do it. Hopefully we just get this in versus Grey Juice. King 7 suited, quite a wide peel here again, but just wanting to be in lots of pots with the Grey Juice guy. Hi, I saw you on YouTube. Good luck. Ah. That's so cool that someone's like seen a video and then come in and played. Is he on my table? Yeah, guess he are. I'm going to go ahead and 3-bet this guy. I'll let him know this is part 24 out this week. Just so we can go check it out. And Glacier, thanks for watching and thanks for the comments. So the worst case scenario with the sixes is he peels, we get a bad flop and he jams and we have to fold. That sucks. But definitely a fine line to take. Ooh, the reg has left. That is very good news. Get 4-bet here. And I kind of feel with the dynamics of like this guy seeing him on YouTube and I'm chatting through the hand, I think this Gnostic guy might be like taking advantage. I mean, there is obviously just the thing that I'm leveling myself and he's going to have like a really strong hand, but the fact we're chatting, the fact he knows this is part of the video, the fact this guy's talking about it, and also the fact that I have blockers for some like huge hands that he's repping like ace, king, queens, and aces, I think makes this a jam. So we're going to go for it. I don't expect people to be 4-bet bluffing that much at 2-L, but all of those things just add up, and yeah, he folds. I think he kind of leveled himself there, and I think that's a fine play from him. It's a really cool spot, you know. People at 2-L do bluff. You know, everyone has this theory that it's like, you know, nobody's good, nobody's thinking. People are great, man. Like these people know poker, and they, you know, pick up on everything. So yeah, mad props to you, Gnostic one. It's probably a shame for you that I wasn't like talking about a hand on another table because I might have folded. But once I started to pay attention and just break the hand down, and that definitely did make it a jam. And you know, as well, guys, like there's this backup theory as well that he can definitely do, you know, 4-bet call it off with tens or jacks, right? And there's also like the theory of you could have kings. Well, against tens and jacks we're about 50%, and against kings we're about 30%. So a lot of the worst case scenarios actually don't become that bad of a scenario when you hold a hand like ace queen. So it's kind of like that nice feeling you have. You know, it's not like I'm just shipping there with like 6-9 off. You know, that I think that'd be ludicrous. But when you have the blockers, when you do okay versus a calling range, you know, it's the time to pull the trigger basically. If there was ever a time, that's the time. First, you're going to go ahead and ISO. And that's definitely one thing I've noticed from doing these parts is just the amount of people who now say hi. It's probably once a video. Do you play on other sites apart from TonyBet? Well, I don't think TonyBet would like me to talk about that in the chat. King 9 suited. I think about 3-betting this guy again. Sixes we miss when we got a player behind. You're going to fold. I do apologise for the typing. Some people might watch that and be put off. I know I might be. So I try and keep it as quick and as short as I can. Okay, so Jack 9 suited here, bottom right. We get 2x raised, and with a hand like this anyway, it's like irrelevant. We're always going to peel. But generally versus sizes, that way, my logic, and I've spoke about this before, is peel and, you know, just play the flop in position. You know, we're getting a good price. We're going to, you know, playable hand. It's that simple in that spot. 9-10, we're going to check. and 10 deuce we're going to fold. We will not be playing the Doyle Brunson. It's a shame Tony G doesn't have like a hand. I know he says like 7 from heaven, or a date with an 8, but like I think it'd be really cool, and I think it's definitely something TonyBet would have done. Is if Tony did have a hand like Doyle has 10 deuce. You could have like the 10 deuce game like in play. Like you could tick it, and whoever's got it ticked and is in the pot, then they sort of pay you like a bit of their prize. I mean, I think that'd be pretty cool. Lots of people ask me about gimmicks on poker sites like that, like the fact you can run it twice on TonyBet and so on. And my general response is I love it. I think anyone who's actually thinking and doing these things shows they care about the game, and it is good value because the whole point of poker now is to make it fun again. Obviously, money's the main thing. Don't ever get me wrong, but it's to make it fun again and attract players and to keep players and to make it more like what people see on TV. So I would love it if there were like games like that, and I like the fact I can straddle here. So you can straddle, run it twice. I think it's just awesome. I really do think it's awesome. Ace 3 suited here. I might just call in position with a hand that can make the nuts in multiple ways. It's funny when I say about a hand that makes the nuts. The reason I say that so often, obviously it's just a true fact, but the way I word it is, once I asked someone about PLO, and they said, just play hands that can make the nuts. And it just stuck with me for like 10 years. So I do say it way too often. I am aware and apologise. Being squeezed here by Gazio. I think we just fold. I don't think we get funky with someone like this. Oh god, Gnostic's putting in that 4th bet again. But a lot smaller this time, notice. Last time versus me, he made it 290. I believe it was him. I believe that was the sizing. So, interesting here. King Jack, I defend and I'm 100% floating. King High is going to be the best hand a lot. I can turn a king or a jack as well, and I've also got that backdoor flush draw. And I think here I just pot size bet, maybe slightly over, and just rep that I missed the draw, and just hope he pays me off with like something. And I know that's something. Oh wow, he's actually got a hand that beats me, which I never expected. Once he checks that turn, and when I say pays me off with something, that just means like he can have some pairs. He might ace high me, and he can definitely hero me, or just have a worse jack in itself. So it's not like that blind of an idea of just I hope he pays me. It just I just mean I hope he has something that can call, and I assume he can. 7th here, I ISO the limper. Ace queen suited bottom left. Always betting my nut flush draw and 2 overs. 7s, I mean, we're just not really getting the good flops. I think I might just bet here though. I rep quite strong into 2 people. We know Rezux likes to fold a lot. Ace queen suited, I'm just going to continue to bomb, and I'm going to continue to half pot it. Top right table, I've ISO'd this guy. Note he now has 50 big blinds, which is cool. Ace queen, I'm just going to bet again. I'm just going to half pot it and just, again, assume he can call me if I like a 7. And by the way, if he jammed, I'd call versus his stack size. Queen 10 suited, I'm actually going to check here, basically for pot control and deception, so I can try and get 2 streets of value. It's just not going to be one of those hands we can get 3 streets of value from. So I want to basically check and allow him to maybe bluff the turn, or to maybe catch up and make a pair or something on the turn and pay us off. Jacks here, we didn't get the board we wanted. King Jack, interesting that he leads. I think I'm going to call once and just see what happens. Oh god, we're going to get these ones. I think I can just fold. Don't get into those traps, guys. Ernesto Cell has sat down, kind of half staffing, mid stacking. Go check the jacks now and hope I win, which I do. He's a good reg. And a Poker VIP player and member. I hope you're still watching these, buddy. He did mention that he watches some of them, so hope you're enjoying the series, or enjoyed the series. Keep forgetting it's RIP, the Grinding TonyBet series. Gonna check the King 6 suited, and flop 3 of a kind, and I'm actually gonna lead here. I like leading on these boards. We get called by a lot of pocket pairs and 4s and flush draws. Even though our kicker's not very good, we're going to have the best hand a lot. And I'm just going to lead 3 streets and just not think about folding unless a heart comes. Or maybe like, the ace pairs or something. But then I'd probably still just check, call it off. Just so we can try and induce some bluffs. What I was saying about the felt at the start of this, by the way, when I say it's like refreshing, a lot of players out there and a lot of grinders will use table mods. And that's basically just, belts or cards or chips that look different or maybe easier on the eye. And it's something I've done a lot throughout my career is I'll change like the felt color or I'll change the background color like every month or two. Because poker can become like a really monotonous grind, and you can just come on, grind, and you just see the same thing every day. And I swear there's something to it about if you just change the color of something, it kind of like freshens you up. It kind of opens your eyes a bit. It kind of changes the way you look at it. And I know that sounds really crazy, but it's kind of like that thing of like, if someone sticks you in a room and you're staring at a white wall all the time, and then someone comes and paints it red after like 2 months. You're going to be so happy that it's red, and it's going to change the way you're thinking, and just change the whole, way you look at it. It does just, I know it's a very deep way to look at it, but it does definitely freshen things up and makes you feel good in a way. So give it a try if you're playing on site now. Go ahead and change it for the first time. If it doesn't do anything for you, whatever, but if it does, leave a comment. Couple of playable hands here, or 3 playable hands, a raise, and a call. Good flop top left here. And we can rep this board, but also just really good turns of river cards can come. Pow! And I'm just going to continue to bet around half pot. Oh, I'm not that scared of the 4. Don't think he's going to have that many full houses with the 4. I think I just basically go for a bet call here. Unless he jams, then I'll fold, I guess. But yeah, it's a pretty easy call. I mean, hands that beat me, ace-4 and the ace-high flush. But if they jam, I'd be like, this is dodgy now. This looks like they're getting greedy. But if you raise like 20 or 25, it would be a pretty easy snap. Don't know if anyone saw 2 months, 2 million back in the day, but there was a very heated debate about what was quicker, a snap or the speed of light, or something like that. What poker nerds talk about. Go ahead and fold the 7-9. And raise the jacks. And we're going to go ahead and just bet the jacks here. I'm going to bet quite large because it is a very wet board. And you know what time it is, guys? It's time to end this series. Let's end it on a high. Let's end it on a high. See if we can stack this guy. Just betting enough here to make it a very easy river jam. Nah, don't like it. Don't like it at all, but not folding. Only the 10 beats me realistically from what you can have. Are we ending on a high? No. No, we're not. Well, anyway, guys, like I say, please sign up and give TonyBet a try. Please give it any feedback, comments, questions, thumbs ups, thumbs downs, whatever you guys want. I really enjoyed making this series, and I think the main thing to really point out about TonyBet, all sites similar to this, and maybe like the top 3 things to do. Number 1, play a mix of stakes. If you play 5NL, I understand you have a 5NL bankroll, but you should still be playing 2NL because those games are easy, and you should definitely be taking earlier shots at 10NL than you would on another site, because those games are very soft. And I feel like if you just kind of take those shots, not like, you don't need to be a maniac with the shot taking, but take those shots and just have the confidence and understand the games are the same and do it sort of like quite close to when you would want to jump up. I think you're going to do really well. Number 2 is make lots of notes and tag people. You don't have a HUD, so you really, really, really have to like give a rundown on people. You have to like date your notes. You have to really go in and review those hands in real time and just get it done. And then number 3 is to kind of like not sort of like get stressed if you're having a downswing, or not get tilted if you're kind of like running into these crazy people who are just like somehow waking up with hands or getting lucky or sucking out. And I know that's kind of like a tip for anywhere you play or anyone you play on, but I understand on a site like this where you just see like these crazy fish just doing stupid stuff, and you're like, but he sucks out on me, but he sucks out on me. Give it time, it will work out, and it will work out in your favor. So yeah, and also like a random tip that's an obvious one: make the most of the rake back bonuses, reload bonuses. and promotions that they offer, because it is money for grinding and it really does help your bottom line. So I hope you enjoyed it. This was the Grinding TonyBet series, part 24, and I was John for PokerVIP.com. Good luck.